It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
What's up, Asheville? Happy holidays and welcome to What's Up Asheville here on WRES 100.7 FM. I'm your host, Sam Parada. Haven't seen you in quite a while, so happy to be back. Sorry about that. And today we have Sydney Monshaw. She's a colleague that works at the city with the Community and Economic Development Department, specifically the Homeless Services Division. But also, Sydney, you are a COC lead member. Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our division at the city serves as the COC lead agency staff. So the COC is the Continuum of Care, and each Continuum of Care has a designated lead agency, and it can be kind of anybody, but in our community, it's the City of Asheville.
It's the city. So, we've talked about the COC before here on the show. I don't want to give the impression of responsibilities and what the city does. So do you want to clear that up a little bit? The difference between the city and the COC, and what it means for us to be the lead agency? Are we responsible for everything?
In fact, we are all responsible for homelessness. Every single one of us.
Thank you for the response. That's very good.
And so sort of in that vein, that's the beauty of the COC, is it's a way for our community to have ownership collectively. And so the difference is that the COC exists kind of outside of any other structure. It's a self-governing body. And the City of Asheville's role is, as lead agency staff, is to provide that sort of underpinning and scaffolding in an administrative capacity. So we are not decision makers. Our team at the city is not decision makers, but we are helping to facilitate good decision making by providing all the important context, background, that kind of thing for the board, who's made up of 19 community members ranging in sectors to actually make those decisions and make recommendations to larger decision-making bodies. So we do have a City of Asheville seat on the board, and that's held by Deborah at the moment.
Yeah, I was on the ask because I know that Deborah, I know that the mayor is part of it. I don't know what role she plays. Is she also on the board?
She is a non-voting liaison to the board. So we have both city and county representation as board members and as non-voting liaisons to those larger decision-making bodies.
And the rest of the board is made up of who or what entities? Yeah,
so the idea is to have sector representation on the board. So each seat is meant to be representative of a group of community members, a group of businesses, a group of now I can't think of any other groups, but also like service providers. So we have folks who are doing unsheltered services and domestic violence. We have public safety representation. We have a wide range of people who are connected to the issue of homelessness, but also have a wide reach to the rest of the community because, like I said, that's how we bring everybody to the table.
Right, and so it's the Asheville-Buncombe Continuum of Care, so it encompasses everything that the county oversees. Is there ever a separation in terms of is Asheville a focus sometimes and not some of the other cities, or is everything all at the same time?
So the Continuum of Care focuses on a geography, and in our community, that is Buncombe County. So
the whole thing.
The whole thing. And I think many of our services are centrally located in Asheville.
Yeah.
But each provider who's part of the COC, we have 104 organizations who are members of the COC, in addition to almost 500 just community members. And so those people come from all over the county. Those organizations represent the whole county, everywhere.
And so how can people get involved? Because you said there's 500. Can we double that?
Absolutely. And I think we realistically will, because people care, and this is a way to show that you care. So anyone can become a member of the COC. It's a Google form or a paper form if you need that. We have those. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure situation. So becoming a member can be as little as receiving a weekly newsletter from us that just like kind of keeps folks up to date on what's happening with homelessness in our community, the big decisions that the COC is going to make, events that are happening, etc. Or folks who are really invested, either as just community members who might have some time, or as employees of providers who are part of this network, can serve on the board, they can serve on committees, work groups. We have a lot of different levels of participation that folks can engage with.
Yeah, I know you guys have, it's kind of new, this whole COC setup. And so I know that you have your boards now, or your committees. How new are they? I don't want to speak out of turn.
Yeah, so the COC was restructured in 2024.
Right before Helene, or right after? Or during even?
February of 24.
Right before.
So, yeah, like 6 months. We kind of got our feet under us in a way that actually allowed us to have sort of a collective response during the storm, which was very cool. It was a great way to make sure that folks were supported and the agencies got what they needed. So, sidetrack, but I feel proud of that time.
Good, yeah, totally.
So, yeah, we have almost all of our board seats are full. We have 2 remaining open seats for a local non-governmental funder and a community member representative. So that's somebody who represents a network of community members, not to be confused with just a regular open to anybody community member seat.
So a networker.
And then we have almost all of our committees stood up as well. So the most recent actually happened, they kicked off just mid-November.
Okay.
And the last one that we need to be seated is our advocacy committee, which was added by the board just this past year as a charter revision over the summer.
Cool.
So yeah, we're
Get
still
involved,
looking for people. Yeah, if you care about advocacy, reach out.
Totally. So, we're talking about the COC, obviously, and your role, is it like full-time liaison? Well, not, I don't want to say liaison, but representative from the city to the COC? Do you do other stuff in your day-to-day office work?
Do you mean me personally or a team?
You personally.
Just me personally?
Yes.
My role is, I would say, 97% COC
Wow.
stuff. It's a large operation to make sure that all of our record keeping is taken care of. Our membership management is, growing all the time, and we're figuring it out. The structure is so new in our community. 2 years is realistically not all that long.
It's really not.
So we're still building a lot of pieces of this, and also have a great mechanism for feedback within the COC, both like with our board and with membership. And so one of the things that I love most about my job is that we are constantly iterating. We're making it better all the time, and we're doing our best to take that feedback and use it. So
yeah, I mean, I saw the Code Purple manual, and we'll be talking about that very shortly, and the winter shelter, is it? Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like compared to previous years, that is all coming together a little bit more smoothly. So yeah, let's talk about that. How does that associate itself with the COC, first of all?
Yeah, so in previous years, it's been the Homeless Coalition that has managed Code Purple, and it's a big lift, to be monitoring the weather and balancing who has what capacity and how much money and all that stuff.
We should totally say what Code Purple even is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Code Purple is our community's additional low barrier shelter beds. So open on nights when the weather is bad, so either 32 degrees or below, or 33 to 40 degrees with precipitation.
Yeah.
And has looked a lot of different ways. This year, we have winter shelter happening all the time for 150 nights, I think it is, until the spring. And so that is being run by Safe Shelter. It's 40 beds for men at the old Salvation Army building on New Leicester, and then 10 beds for women at Safe Shelter in West Asheville. And then when Code Purple is called, there are additional beds that come online at Salvation Army, A-Hope, and Transformation Village, the ABCCM property in West Asheville.
And this year, it seems like I'm getting an email about Code Purple every day. So it's really good that it's available because it's going to be a cold one.
Yeah, it's a huge asset to our community. We don't have a large amount of shelter capacity. We don't have enough generally. And so it's great that we have additional beds, even though it's still not quite what we need.
I don't think it would be hard for it to be enough, just because it's just too much. But at the same time, you also offer, is it free bus rides to the shelters? Yeah.
So when Code Purple is called, bus transit is free on the ART buses, and then also free back to downtown or kind of wherever folks need to go the next day. And then an important thing to just get out into the world is that winter shelter, there are bus tickets kind of all over the community for folks to be able to access. So providers have them, the REST team has them, so that folks can more easily access winter shelter on a nightly basis too.
Cool. And so for the average person, let's say, someone who lives downtown, can they get involved with Code Purple in any way? Because it doesn't really affect them. But yeah, how does one, if I receive the email, for example, what can I do with that?
Absolutely. So I would first argue that it does affect all of us.
Okay, yes. Please keep me in check.
Well, I just think it's important to remember that homelessness is a community issue at all times. And the more we pay attention to each other and the more we help people get what they need, the better and stronger we are as a community. So, but I think for folks who want to take some tangible action, every agency that is working with Code Purple or Winter Shelter this season is in need of volunteers. Okay. So we're getting ready to put that information into a more condensed package, and we'll have that publicly available soon. But reaching out to any of the providers that I named earlier to see how to volunteer is the best pathway right now.
Or just reach out to the COC in general.
Yeah, and we'll get you connected.
And there you have, all the networking. So let's see, did you say that it runs all the way until spring, and then for that rest of the year, it's a lot of logistics and preparing for the next season, pretty much?
Yeah, it varies every year a little bit because the funding that's available is different all the time.
Right.
So this year, this year it was cool because there were a few different funding sources that were available, and the COC was able to come together to make some decisions about that money and about bed availability and capacity and all that stuff. So it was a highly collaborative effort, and I anticipate that will be kind of our norm moving forward because it's proven to be working pretty well so far.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with funding wise. I know that's a touchy subject, but yeah, I mean, I feel like you're helping people, and it sounds like they're packed, the shelters during this time. So
yeah,
good luck getting more beds. So yes, you can find information about all of this on our website. If you go to asheville.nc.gov, there should be a little search bar, Continuum of Care, Code Purple. You can read all about it, sign up. If you know someone who may need help, provide them the links if they can. If not, just talk and find information. We recently had a awareness week. We made a lot of social media posts on that. We received a lot of information and resources, a lot of events. Tell me more about Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week.
Yeah, so Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week happens annually in November, and it's really meant to do just that, draw some awareness to a topic that I think people are aware of all the time, but not actively focused on. Our Community Relations Committee did an exceptional job with planning and executing events during that week this year. They did a social media campain, which you were very kind to support with.
But I gotta say, it was really well put together. It was nice. A lot of good information on it. So And next year, I expect the same level of care to be put into it.
Oh yeah, they're ready. And the other thing that they did was host a panel discussion that I thought was really well done, well attended. Our panelists were all people with lived experience of homelessness.
Okay.
Many of them are currently working in service provider roles. So it was a really vulnerable and authentic conversation about something that I think requires that personal connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job, and we had everybody in the room at the very end. One of the Community Relations Committee's ideas was to have everybody write down on a big piece of paper something that they feel hopeful about, and everybody held them up at the end, and it was really awesome. It was very cool to see a room full of people sharing
Just come together.
Sharing hope like that. Yeah, it was neat.
And so the panel took place, I want to say maybe that was the main big event. But there were a lot of events in between.
Yeah, so a lot of agencies were hosting their own events or volunteer opportunities, and we kind of collected those and put them all in the same place so people could see them more easily. But then our membership meeting for November, which they happen monthly at the banquet hall at the Cherokee Center, that just happened to be on that Thursday of Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. And so the committee decided that they wanted to have the focus of that meeting be the panel discussion. And so we kind of used that as a platform.
Yeah. So I'm going back to the list of events because, again, it was very thorough. It was very long. You mentioned that a lot of those were hosted by their own, private companies, private industries, or whatever. Was that just because of the awareness week, or is this something that happens often and there's a bigger list out there somewhere?
I think agencies and providers in our community are always creating opportunities for engagement. I would say pretty much constantly. That list in particular, we had put a call out to all COC member organizations and invited them to share something specific that they wanted to get out to the COC. And so those were maybe a little bit more tailored to Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, but I would say you can find a way to engage year-round.
And no other better place to do it than by joining the COC.
Exactly.
So, we're going back to the COC, I feel like. And again, the COC is newish, so it's wild to me to see, how quickly it's grown. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
And then, so right now, this time period specifically is very important for the homeless community because, of the weather. And then once that period ends, still, it's not like everything's solved and it just goes away. We do have the point in time count for 2026 that happens in January every year. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the point in time count is a federally required activity that we must do as a COC. I think it is both great and complicated.
I bet.
It's great because I think the biggest value that it has for our community is that it's a way for people experiencing homelessness to have their voices heard. It's a way for them to engage meaningfully in conversation with people that they might otherwise never talk to, and to tell the community what it is that they need or hope for. It's complicated because it's a snapshot of data in our community. And it's a pretty particular snapshot. So it's not always an exact way to see what's happening in our community, but it is a way for us to have some data year over year to be able to compare, that same last Tuesday of January, year over year, kind of what we're seeing.
And the data that you compile is like a head count and shelter use, I would imagine. Like, what else goes in there?
So it's a survey, and the questions mostly are provided by HUD. It's data that is of interest nationally.
Okay.
And so all of that gets, de-identified and sent back to HUD for like larger national use. But in our community, we also have the opportunity to add some supplemental questions. And so our System Performance Committee, it's so great. We have so many committees who are doing such great work. Our System Performance Committee helped identify the questions that they felt like were important to know about locally. And so we'll have 4 or 5 questions kind of at the end that have some focus on Helene and sort of long-term effects from the storm, that kind of thing.
Because I remember the one for last year included people who lost their home to Helene and were taking shelter through FEMA, for example. So that skewed the numbers, I imagine, a lot. What is good data to have? Because again, it's a snapshot. It's like, this is where we're right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the most valuable things that came out of last year was we asked folks, what's one thing that you'd like the community to know about homelessness? And that is a list of answers that we refer to throughout the year. So while a lot of that data, like demographic data and storm-related data, is very, I
think that's what people go to see if they're interested. But you're talking about like the actual, like, this is what we've been told.
Yeah, and these are humans. These are your neighbors.
Yeah.
And how can we listen to them a little bit more? Yeah.
So the point in time count. I feel like it's also really difficult to do it in the middle of winter too, because like winter doesn't until what, end of February-ish, give or take. It's cold.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It's really cold. So like you have to put together a list of volunteers to go out, because I remember it's 2 days that you do this, and then you compile a lot of people.
Yeah, so last year we had about 135 volunteers.
Wow.
It's big.
Is that the highest number of volunteers you've had?
I would imagine it's one of the highest.
Yeah.
I'm not sure though for sure.
Okay.
We a couple of years ago we did the night and the daytime count.
Wow.
Both focused on where someone slept the night of that Tuesday night. It just sort of widens the availability of people, like if you're sleeping or if you are at work, we're not going to be able to give you a survey.
Yeah.
And so it's a way to sort of just like catch lots of different kinds of folks. And our volunteers will canvass the entire county on the night.
Oh, it's the whole county. Oh, I thought it was just the city of Asheville.
No, we have like 28 canvas areas.
Wow.
So we're working with the planning department. They're helping us create some maps and some sort of like interactive ways for folks to be able to understand their survey area.
Wow.
It's
a lot of work.
It's a big project.
No wonder that time of the year the whole department is stressed. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool to know. Is 135 people? It sounds like a big number. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Is that enough?
We were close to not having enough last year. There were some folks who like things happen and people can't show up, and our list of backup folks was kind of small, and so we did some last minute shuffling, and we got what we needed for sure. But it's definitely helpful to have more people sign up, and
because there's a limit to how many people can volunteer, I imagine, because that's a lot of people to keep track of. You have to pair them with someone who's experienced before. You don't want to just send a person who's never done this.
Right.
Hey, here, go find people, go talk to them.
Absolutely not. We don't want to do that. So we have, in years prior, we've done that matching. Our staff has done that matching process. This year we're trying something new, and we're allowing people to sign up for whatever service location they want. Like if people are interested in East Asheville or whatever. And we're making sure that one spot is held by somebody who's at least done it before. And then Debbie on our team does a really thorough and thoughtful orientation and sort of like volunteer training. So folks will need to attend that also to be able to survey.
And Debbie's been on this show. She's great. She also gave. Do those still happen? The homeless learning series.
They are on pause right now
Yeah.
because we have a community relations committee who
Right.
will help direct what that should look like.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thought of everything. And then so you get all these people together. They go out. They give the surveys, and then you compile all of the data. And then I want to say about a month later or so, or around March.
It's usually around March. Yeah.
That's when the numbers are released. And then they're on our website, asheville.nc.gov. Use the search bar, point in time. You can find all that information from the past few years. And again, I imagine the COC is going to send out an email saying, hey, please volunteer to the 500 people.
Yes.
So again, if you're interested, if you don't want to miss it, you can sign up through there.
Yeah. And we'll be announcing some more information at our membership meeting next week on Thursday, the 11th at 6 p.m. at Harris. We'll have volunteer opportunities will go live at that meeting, and we'll be collecting some items for donation. So all that information's on our project page, and then after that, we'll be sharing out that opportunity with the broader community.
Cool. Is there anything else to talk about the COC at this point? What are your plans for the next year, I imagine?
So the board worked through a strategic planning process about this time last year. And so they've got a 1-year annual action plan that we are slowly working through. So all that information is on our project page too, if folks are really interested in getting into the details. But I think we've had some big successes. And right now we're just trying to work through some federal funding and get through the point in time count, and then keep chipping away at that annual action plan.
Keep going, yeah. This may be a hard question, but in your opinion, what are the top 3 ways that homelessness can be, I don't want to say battled, but how can homelessness be helped? The top 3 reasons that you can say this can help solve it.
I would say we need more spaces for people to be. So whether that's affordable housing or shelter or just like spaces where more folks can access some stability. That's really important. This is going to sound so trite, but being kind is a really easy way to be helping someone in a housing crisis. I mean, people who are experiencing homelessness are actively in trauma. They're experiencing trauma constantly. And so being kind and treating somebody with respect goes a huge, long way. And I think finally joining the CSC is the way that our community will collectively respond. It's not until everyone can decide that we're going to work together that we'll be able to move the needle. Yeah,
because I feel like I've seen people talk like, oh, this is the city's problem. Buncombe County needs to do X and Y, this neighborhood, the shops, the district, whatever. And it's like, I feel like I'm slowly naturally leaning into your response of this is everyone's problem, because I never really gave it much thought before working for local government how homelessness is not just one person's problem to solve, and so can people who are experiencing homelessness join the COC as well? Yeah, and we highly encouraged.
Would love for them to join the COC. Yeah. Lived experience is key. Emily, my supervisor Emily, has a sign on her wall that says "Nothing about us without us."
Okay.
And I think valuing and centering the voice of people with lived experience is critical if if we want a solution that's actually going to be meaningful.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for talking about the COC. Good luck to you in your funding future and everything that you're doing. A lot of good work. And yeah, go to the city's website, asheville.gov. Look up Point in Time, look up COC, Continuum of Care. Get involved and, be part of the solution. And yeah, this is the end of the show. We'll be with you next time on What's Up Asheville here on WRES 100.7 FM. Be good to one another.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRES 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30. Thank you for listening.